I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Hey, good evening to everybody. I think we're live. Yes, we are live. Hope you all had a nice Monday night. The Rams and under hit, which was nice, man. I'm sure you guys, if you've subscribed to this channel, you know the type of weekend I just had. Honestly, the last couple months, too. I mean, every single... Can't seem to figure it out last couple months. I mean, losing stretches are going to happen. This particular one seems to be lasting abnormally long. And it's starting to get me a little frustrated. But tonight was nice. It was nice. Rams and under. Rams, no doubt. And then the under, we had the sweat for a little bit, but ended up staying under by a couple of scores. Oh, thank you for the compliments on the intro. Yeah, people like it. I'm trying to get in touch with the guy who sent me that song. He sent it in, and I sent it back like, hey, bro, I'll buy the track from you. Never answered. So I'm just using this guy's song. I'm trying to buy it from him, but he sent it in to use it. So we're trying this new format out for the live show. Basically, the way I have it set up is I have graphics set up for some college basketball and NBA, and we'll just bounce around. And I have the browser. You can see the internet browser open, so we can look at some stuff together. Some stuff I just saw for those of you that are betting NBA. This is moving. This Phoenix-Atlanta line, this was open at Hawks -1. It was just at 2. It's pretty much at 3 across the board. So if you are looking, if you cap the game, you like Phoenix, you could still get a 2.5 on BetMGM. That number is on the move. I don't even really think I like Phoenix. I'm just saying if you do, I would grab a 2.5 on BetMGM before it's gone. So yeah, do we want to start with some NBA?
Are the Suns just like a failed experiment? Like, how are they so bad?
I mean, the defense is bad. Everything's inconsistent. Even the offense is stale. It's tough. It's a tough watch. I mean, you know what? Let's talk about the Suns game. Might as well. We got Phoenix, Atlanta. Got the spreadsheet right here. Phoenix, Atlanta. 1 second. It's our first time with this format, so bear with me. Projected score 118-113 Hawks. And check this out. So the last 5 games, the Suns are playing some better basketball. 10th in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating. Please be mindful of the strength of schedule. 30th. And if you go look at who the Suns have played in those last 5, you got the Hornets in there twice. You got the Jazz. You got the Hawks, and they won that game 123-115. So they just beat the Hawks, and then you got the lowly Sixers. So yeah, the numbers look a little better in the last 5 games, but something I do like for the Suns here, Atlanta's a defense that's pretty reliant on forcing turnovers. You can see right here, last 10 full game, pretty much top 5 in forced turnovers. Suns do a pretty good job protecting the basketball. They can't rebound for shit, but you know what? Neither can the Hawks. So this might be a weirdly good matchup for Phoenix here. You're not going to see many matchups where the Suns can win the rebounding battle. This is one of them. Injuries for this game. Trae Young questionable, Bogdanovich questionable, still no Jalen Johnson. Yeah, I probably would lean Phoenix. Real quick, let's look at the shot profiles.
Mr. Weskers, I see you in the comments, and just for the record, you say that Phoenix hasn't covered a game since you were young. Phoenix is 2-2-1 their last 5 against the spread. Do you know what the Atlanta Hawks are? 0-5 ATS their last 5 games.
Yeah,
so it's not.
The Hawks might be back into blind fade mode. The blind fade Hawks that we loved last year. There was a nice little stretch where they were rebounding well and they were winning games. They were covering the number. That seems to be gone. They certainly need Jalen Johnson back. So I would have to lean Suns there. Real quick, let me look at the Hawks shot profile, see if there's...
Does it matter? And this is because we're on a live and we're just BSing. Does it matter to you that they just played like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, not really. I don't really care about that. I don't think the Hawks could... So. A lot of people pay too much attention to that. But, I mean, in that game, the Suns were able to score pretty freely. Hawks have been attacking the basket. Suns actually have weirdly good defensive numbers at the rim. Granted, they've played a weak schedule. So, yeah, I'd probably lead Suns in that one. You know what? I'll take that 2.5 before it's gone. Screw it. I'll get down on some Suns. What could go wrong? Maybe the line could be moving because maybe there's Trae Young is listed as questionable. Maybe he's not going to play.
Yeah, that's another. I think that's kind of weird too. Phoenix has played 2 other games since they last played Atlanta, and Atlanta is playing Phoenix twice in a row.
Yeah, well, they had one of their games postponed, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, Suns -2.5. I'm in. Let me post it to the Discord. All right, let's jump over and do a college basketball game next.
Did your Zubac rebound hit?
Let's check. Zubats. He's got 15.
Oh yeah!
You'll love to see it.
I tailed it just because Beaver was so adamant that he can't rebound at home.
Yeah, he was talking shit. I might send him right after we get off the stream. I'm gonna send him a screenshot. Zubat rebounds, baby.
I almost did 15 plus too because it was like plus 160 or something.
Well, there's still a lot of time left in the game too. He might hit 20.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It would have been freaking free.
All right, so we are moving on to Mississippi State Auburn. Let me get the and guys, at the end of the show, if any of you guys have any feedback about the format, I think it looks pretty good on the screen, and I think we're pretty easily navigate here, but we're open to suggestions. Obviously, not having Andy sucks because he was loving the midnight streams. He was finding this is our first midnight stream without Andy.
Yeah.
Sucks, but this is the format we're going with.
I have talked to a couple other cappers that are very similar to like how we were at the beginning, like do a show every week. Vanden Bosch, he's in the comments a lot. I talked to him over DMs. He's welcome to he said he wouldn't mind filling in and stuff like that too. So,
oh yeah, that'd be awesome for sure.
Yeah, so I told him we would definitely do that sooner or later.
We need to get the Rodfather on too. He's on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah. So
all right, I got we're at 7.5 here. I can see why. Auburn's a significantly better basketball team. Mississippi State 17th in strength of schedule in the last 10, though. They're playing some teams.
Big news. So big news out of this one is what is the status of Broom? Obviously, one of the best players, if not the best player in college basketball, rolled his ankle last game for Auburn against South Carolina. Obviously, they had trouble in that game. That was the first game that really Auburn has, besides the Duke game, I guess, Auburn's looked like a normal, like run-of-the-mill basketball team. They won that game by 3, but he went down. I don't know. I think that this line being 7.5 tells me that he's not playing. I've made that little joke on this show or on our lives many times when I sing "Welcome to the Jungle," and I almost play Auburn at home every single time. I love betting on Auburn in the jungle, but if they do not have Jabari Broom, I want to be all over Mississippi State. Mississippi State's been kind of a moneymaker for me.
One player, he means that much to this team?
He's the best player in college basketball. So I'm not trying to make a case that Auburn is a bad basketball team without him. But you're looking at a guy that's essentially going to give you 20 and 10 every night. That doesn't turn the ball over. Has a couple assists as well. He really does it all.
So he's their leading rebounder.
Yeah, he is the
real interesting because check this out. Last 10 games, Auburn 292nd in defensive rebounding rate. Mississippi State 16th in offensive rebounding rate. If that guy's out, Mississippi State.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I almost want to take Mississippi State. I haven't bet it yet. They're on my list. I haven't bet it yet because I was hoping to get like 10. So first of all, seeing it at 7.5 made me stop and pump the brakes. Second of all, it also made me think that they don't think that Jabari Broom is going to play because the look ahead lines are, if you want to take into that, would probably be like 9.5, give or take. So it's another one. I mean, Mississippi State on Ken Palm, and not that Ken Palm's the end-all be-all, but it's usually a really good indication of where the lines are going to be set. Ken Palm has this game at 13. Auburn wins 85-72. So again, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. That's obviously with Broom in the game, but again, you asked if Broom makes that much of a difference. Kind of, in a way, yes, because when you take him out, you bring in a guy like Cardwell, who's definitely not nearly the guy that Broom is, or Hudson, which I know that means nothing to you, but you're asking guys like Chad Maker-Mazzara, who I really, really like, but you're asking him and like Pettiford to run the show, and Pettiford's a freshman, and you're going to be facing a Mississippi State defense that knows what they're doing. I mean, they're top 40 team in the country playing defense. They really turn teams over a lot, and that's the one thing that I will give Auburn credit, is they don't turn the ball over a lot, but a lot of that too is that they're able to use Broome, and kind of masks a lot of their offensive issues. Not that Auburn has very many issues at all. I'm just saying, when you take out the best player in the country, when you have a guy like a freshman point guard, that means a lot more to me than if it was like a senior point guard or something like that. So Mississippi State has treated me really well this year, and I think that they're a really underrated team. I mean, that game against just their last game at home against Kentucky was another game that they lost by 5. But Kentucky, as we know, is a really, really good basketball team. They've also went on the road and beat teams like Memphis and SMU. McNeese State was that was a semi-home game. But and Vanderbilt. I mean, again, none of those teams are comparable to Auburn, but nobody's going to be comparable to Auburn. But again, if you don't have Jabari Broome, that's going to be a different situation. So I really want to be Mississippi State. I'm waiting. It looks like DK's at like 7.5 minus 112. And the only reason I mentioned it like that is that once we start seeing the minus 115s, minus 120s on those 7.5s, I'll probably jump to get the 7.5, because I think this line's probably going to go down to 7, maybe 6.5 by tomorrow, especially once you see the John Rothstein, Jabari Broome tweet, whenever it comes out, if he's playing or not. So, the injury reports in college basketball aren't much better than the NBA, but I think that Mississippi State, again, it's really, really hard to bet against Auburn at home, but I think Mississippi State can stay in this game if Jabari Broome doesn't play. And even if he did play, I don't know if it's a slam dunk for Auburn. I think that Mississippi State's a very underrated basketball team.
Yeah, especially if they're going to be active on the offensive glass here. And I'm seeing here, this actually opened up at 8 and has already dropped down to 7.5. So it looks like it's already moved a bit.
Yeah. So again, it's a very, very strong lean to Mississippi State. Again, if I start seeing it go down to like 7s, I'm probably going to jump on whatever book has 7.5. I feel like if Broome gets announced out, or when he does get announced out, I think that line goes to like 6. But yeah. It'll be different, that's for sure. This is going to be a very good game to watch, interesting to want to watch.
All right. So let's go ahead and skip on over to another game. Should I just pick one at random? Do you guys have an NBA game or a college basketball game you want to talk about? I actually only have like 5 college basketball games queued up. So, well, I can just jump to an NBA game at random. Oklahoma City, Philly. All right. It's 11.5 point line. Want to do a better game? Let's go Cleveland, Indiana. Let's go Cleveland, Indiana. All right, poll is running. So I was looking at this game, and I think you got to go Pacers here. Hold on. Let me get it so you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right. So we got Cleveland.
And really quickly, I know that Broome is like almost positive out. I see the comments. It's just I'm not going to come out here and say that he's out until they actually confirm it. Like, I know that he was supposed to have surgery, or he just missed having surgery. I get all that. I'm just saying that I'm not going to come out here and be like, he's out, and then have Rothstein be like, oh, he's going to suit up and give it a go. I just don't want to be in that position.
So, obviously, Cleveland's been dominant. We know. That being said, the Pacers are playing some basketball here. Check this out. Last 10 games, first in offensive rating for Cleveland, 5th for Indiana. Defensive rating, 17th and 16th. So these two teams have been playing similar basketball on an efficiency level in the last 10 games. Look at the strength of schedule, 14th, 1st. So the Pacers are playing some ball right now. We can't sleep on the Pacers. That being said, I mean, it is Cleveland. So if you keep looking, we keep scrolling down here. All right, Pacers should be able to keep Cleveland off the offensive glass. Pacers protect the basketball. You love to see it. Pacers may struggle with the Cavs pick and roll there. Oh, you don't like that for Indiana. Cleveland, one of the best defenses in the NBA against the pick and roll. Pacers run that a lot. You don't like that. What about transition defense? Cleveland pretty fucking good. You don't like that. What I do like, though, we know Cleveland's been shooting a lot of threes above the break in the last 10 games. 4th in frequency, 3rd in efficiency. Indiana plays some decent defense out there. That's why I like to bet the Pacers when they play the Celtics. Is they tend to match up well with teams that rely on three-point shooting. Not that Cleveland's reliant on three-point shooting, but yeah, if they get into the half court, though, it's not the best for Indiana. Cleveland, one of the best half-court offenses in the NBA. Indiana struggles. I think 7's too many. I mean, obviously, look at the projected score because the last 10 games, that's how good the Pacers have been against the
7.5 popping up now.
Yeah, I think it's moving towards. Let me look at the line on this one.
I think it opened at 5.5.
Yeah, it opened at 5.5. Circa has 7 still. Yeah, 7.5, but it seems the Cleveland minus 7.5 is minus 102. It looks like it might come back down to 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to bet Indiana is what I want to do, but I don't know if fading Cleveland is a wise decision. Let me read some comments. See what you guys think. Under 237. I have 230 here. Did I mess the graphic up? No, Wow, the total is dropping. When I made this graphic an hour ago, it was 230. Circus dropped all the way down to 228.
I was just going to ask you what's a low total considered, because if you're getting 7.5, 8, and a total that's continuing to move down, you're probably going to be in a decent spot.
FanDuel still has a 229.5 open. I'll grab that. Just a little top down-ish, if you will. Yeah, Circa dropped that all the way down to 228. There we go. Why not? When in Rome. I'm in under 229.5 on FanDuel. I do like Indiana though. From like what do I want to bet is Indiana. I'll probably talk some shit about it on the live show tomorrow. I've had an open rivalry with the Cavs. Wow, there's 214 people in here. Holy shit. For the midnight show. Graben says he likes Cleveland to get the revenge. Pacers just beat him.
Mr. Weskers, I think that we're on a lot of the same sides. I have Indiana plus 4.5. I got Syracuse plus 7.5. I see you. I see you, hater.
The Rodfather says Rick Carlisle home games off an upset win over a division rival as an underdog. let me read that again. So, Rod's the man. So, Rick Carlisle home games off an upset win over a division rival as an underdog. The over is 9-0 in those games. So Rod likes the over.
Okay.
Yeah, someone said no Halliburton. That might be a good reason for it. Yeah, Halliburton listed as doubtful.
All you need is Andrew Nembhard. You'll be good.
I don't know. I'm going to take a good hard look at the Pacers tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
Do I like Syracuse or Mississippi State more?
Do we have that game queued up?
I'm not sure. If I'm being honest, I didn't even know we were going live tonight until YouTube told me that there was a live.
All right. Well, for college basketball, we have Texas A&M, Kentucky queued up. I got Ole Miss, Alabama. I got Illinois, Indiana.
Illinois, Indiana. Yeah.
You want to do this one? All right. Let's get a poll up. Illinois minus 3.5. Indiana plus 3.5. 7.5.
Okay. I'm seeing your comments. I'm writing the games down, so I'll answer most of your guys' question. As far as Xavier Villanova, I feel like it's a coin flip, but yeah. Anyway, Illinois, Indiana, for me. I already placed a bet on this game, and I'm on the Hoosiers. I got them at plus 4.5. It's dropped down a little bit to 3.5 now. So that changes things just a little bit for me. But here's my thing. I do think that Indiana can match up pretty well with this Illinois team. Here's the thing with Illinois is that I think Illinois is a very, very good basketball team. I'm not trying to take shots at them, but if they don't have Jack Anunis, or however you say his last name, I'm not going to act like I know how to say it because I feel like every time I watch the TV, they say it differently too. But regardless, he hasn't played the last 2 games. Obviously, he's not healthy. clearly because he's not playing. But even if he does come back, I mean, they're going to be facing an Indiana team that has also played a very strong schedule. That's one thing that Illinois has going for them as well. They've played one of the hardest schedules in the country, and they've continued to play well. But Illinois Indiana is a team that has struggled away from home. I mean, all of the times that they've looked really bad, Iowa, Nebraska, Gonzaga, Louisville, all those games were away from home and not in Bloomington. But they're in Bloomington. I mean, they just blew out USC at home. They took care. I mean, I guess you could say blew out Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers kind of came back. They didn't have. I think Dylan Harper was out that game, or was that the Wisconsin game? Yeah, no Dylan Harper for Rutgers, so that doesn't really do as much for them, but they still won that game by double digits. They beat Minnesota by double digits. So again, my point being is that this Illinois team has been a lot better at home. They haven't been tested a lot on the road, but you have an Illinois team that again hasn't been really tested on the road either. When they played Alabama, that wasn't a true road game. That was I call it, it's a semi-away, a neutral, whatever. I call it a neutral anytime you're not playing at the team's home stadium. That's just how it is for me. Illinois went on the road and lost to Northwestern. They also went on the road and they had a really good road trip on the West Coast and played Oregon and Washington. But again, they haven't really been tested like this, and they're going to be facing an Indiana team that matches up really well with them. One thing that Illinois has going for them, just like teams like USC and Duke have going for them, is they're one of the biggest teams in the country. So usually they're always going to have the height advantage and usually a rebounding edge that comes with that. They do not have that here. Especially with Indiana, who's a bigger basketball team than them. I mean, Malik Reneau, 6'9", Miles Rice, 6'3", Ballo, 7 foot, Mandungo or Baguko, however you say his last name, 6'9", Trey Galloway, 6'5", Tucker, 6'7". I mean, this team
let me cut you off. Someone just said in the comments, Broom confirmed out.
Yeah, I was like 95% sure he was out. Again, I just didn't want to come on here and tell everybody that he was out. And then
I thought I didn't know. Okay, so okay, got it.
So, but yes, I like I said, as soon as I start CS7 pop up in that Mississippi State game, I'll be playing them. But as far as Indiana goes, I think that they can match up really well. I think they're going to have a home court in Bloomington matters to me, definitely. And like I said, they match up size-wise, so I don't think that Illinois is going to have a huge rebounding advantage that they usually do. Another thing is that Illinois doesn't force a lot of turnovers, and that's going to be huge for an Indiana team that I think that can work inside. That usually Illinois kills teams inside. Defensively, they're very good, but I think that they can actually get Illinois into some foul trouble. And if that's the case, I think that really opens up the game for Illinois, especially at home. So Illinois, also one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Not that Indiana is terrible or Illinois is bad. But I mean, Indiana is also a team that doesn't rely on the three-point shot. I think that matters a lot because Illinois has done a really, really good job of defending the three. But again, I just think this is kind of like you're getting a lot of points for an Indiana team that I think is a lot better than people give them credit for. And a team that, again, like I said, you can poke holes with them away from home. But at home, they've been very, very good. So obviously this is going to be the biggest test of the year. But again, if Illinois doesn't have their best player or if he's hobbled, this game is a lot more even than people think it is. That's for sure.
I'll put Indiana plus 3.5 here for you. It's crazy that they're catching 3.5 points at home. I guess it hasn't been the best year, but I'm looking at their numbers, and yeah, I get it. Strength of schedule goes to Illinois as well.
Yeah, but barely. I mean, it shouldn't be too much. So that's. I mean, I will say I think that Illinois has been more impressive as well. I'm just saying that I don't know. I mean, how good is Penn State and Washington? I don't really know. I think Indiana's head and shoulders better than them. And then as far as the Oregon game is concerned, they blew Oregon out, but they also shot 55% from deep in that game. I mean, let's just take a quick look since we're not on a live. We have time to do this. Let's just take a look at Illinois and their three-point shooting since that Oregon game. So they went 16 for 29, 55% against Oregon. Then the next game they came out against Washington, went 5 for 26, 19%. Then Penn State, what was it, 32%, and then USC 29%. So if they're not hitting the 3-ball, which I don't think they're going to be able to do as good job, especially on the road in a team that matches up height-wise with them, if they don't have that 3-ball going, I think this, like I said, I think this is going to be a lot closer game than people think. So I got 4.5 with Indiana. I think this is like a one-possession game, and I also think that Jack Anunis or whatever is probably out, considering how short this line is.
All right, I'm looking at Illinois' road games here. Lost to Northwestern. Dominant win over Oregon, dude.
But again, the 55% from deep, I mean...
Is that, yeah. Are you telling me to tail? Are you giving me an order here?
No.
All right.
No. Not at 3.5. At 4.5, I'm down for you to tail. But at 3.5,
Well, what did
it's gonna keep moving probably.
It opened at 3. So maybe
Yeah,
we
but it
revisit this tomorrow.
I agree.
All right. Let's jump into another NBA game.
Yeah, they haven't even shot close to 55% besides against Chicago State, who's obviously one of the worst teams in the country.
Do we want to do this game, guys? Some of these, this is one I haven't looked at yet, so I'll be looking at it for the first time right here. Pelicans, Bulls. Whoa.
My dog just fell off the couch because he was sleeping. You idiot. That was funny.
All right. Pelicans, Bulls. Let's get the spreadsheet up. First, let's look at some injuries.
Yes, Mr. Weskers, I took Syracuse on the spread plus 7.5. We'll get there.
They were saying something like, of course you did. Do you always take them or something?
Oh, he said, of course I did?
He said something before, like Toast is taking
Oh.
Syracuse or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
For whatever reason, I can't get the Bulls to show. Oh, wait, maybe if I do this. No, for some reason, I can't get the Bulls to show up where you guys can see it. But anyway, the injury report is no Brandon Ingram, no Herb Jones, nothing new there. DeSumo and Kobe White, both questionable for the Bulls. A couple of guards.
I haven't heard DeSumo that name in a long time.
Since his Illinois days.
Mm-hmm. And his mask.
Yep. That team was sick. What was the big man on that team? The Sumu, and they had the big man was the star. Hold on. He was he was huge.
It's not Coleman Hawkins. That's the first thing.
No.
Kofi Cockburn, or whatever.
Coburn. Yep.
Yeah.
Cockburn. Yep. All right. So projected score 116, 118.6.
That's
damn right on where the line has it. All right. Good job, model.
Now I have to look up and where he's at these days.
All right. So strength of schedule, both have been ass. Bulls haven't been playing that much better than the Pelicans. I mean,
just for the record, Kofi's killing it in the South Korean basketball league, just for anybody who was wondering. Just killing it.
I mean, you were going to have Zion here, DeJounte Murray, McCollum, Trey Murphy. So we're going to have a relatively full-strength Pelicans team. They're playing better basketball. 15th in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating in the last 5. Okay, Pellies. All right, let's see what we got. Pelicans. I don't really like that page. Let's go back here. All right, this is positive. Pelicans struggle on the defensive glass, but the Bulls have no offensive rebounding presence at all. Like that. Normally, by the way, on this live show, I will have looked at all the games. Today's a weird one because I was setting the screens up. This whole format, I just built it. The screen like this, so this is all new with these templates. So normally the format is I will have looked at all the games already. This is just a weird one where I haven't looked at a bunch of them. Bulls take a lot of threes. Pelicans, not the strongest three-point defense. What are the Pelicans doing offensively? I don't even know. Do they even have an offensive identity? I mean, I think based on right now the current health of the teams, Bulls just lost at home to the Kings.
Bulls down to 1.5 in some spots.
I would look. Yeah, I mean, that's where I want to be. Is Pelicans? Is it really down to 1.5? Hold on, let me look.
On ESPN, it looks like.
All right.
That looked like the only one, so never mind. Doesn't really matter.
Circa had it at 1.5, then 2.5, now 2. It looks like it's mostly 2.
Yeah.
I would want to be on the Pelicans there. How do Pelicans defend in transition? It's tough with them though because with all the injuries, we haven't really seen many. We don't have the best data in transition. Oh God. Oh man, nah.
Oh no! Look at all that red.
Oh God. They're 30th in defensive efficiency in transition, and the Bulls are second in frequency. I mean, tough to bet on the worst fast break defense in the NBA against a team that pushes the tempo a lot. That's pretty fucked. So I don't know if I could pull the trigger on the Pelicans. Where are we going to go next? Want to jump to a random college basketball? Damn, it's 12:30 already.
Which one do you have queued up?
See what else I got. Got Ole Miss, Bama, Texas A&M, Kentucky. We did that one. I also have Baylor, Arizona.
Either one. We can start with Kentucky because that's going to start before the Arizona. I guess it doesn't matter. We're not on the live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just do Kentucky really quickly. Let me see what this line is now.
My graphic says 6.5, so that's what it was an hour ago.
I was going to say, I assumed it didn't move very much, but yeah. This is like a hard one. Maybe the comments can know. I haven't looked in the last 6 or 7 hours. I know that Rothstein tweeted about it. I just don't have it in front of me. Is Wade Taylor back tomorrow? I don't know if that really I mean, I feel like it's kind of stupid saying that. I don't know if it matters, but at the same time, I will say that they've looked just fine in the games that they haven't played without him. I mean, Houston Christian, they didn't play without him. They were fine. Obviously, they're terrible, but against Oklahoma, they were fine. I mean, they had a really nice comeback win. I was pretty big on Oklahoma in that game, so I know exactly how that game went. And then in the Alabama game, I mean, again, when Alabama is shooting the ball well and stuff like that, it's hard to beat them. So, I mean, Alabama had a good night. Yeah, I really want to take Mississippi State here. There's something I don't know what it is. I haven't bet it either one. I haven't bet it, but it's really hard to fade this Kentucky team at home. But at the same time, I do think if it's a little bit of a letdown spot after getting kind of blown up on the road at Georgia and then having to get up 3 or 4 days later and go play a really hard-nosed Mississippi State team. And now coming back home 3 days later and getting up for a Texas A&M team that I will give you offensively isn't anything to write home about. There's no question about that, especially when you're comparing it to the Kentucky offense. But
wait, am I reading? Am my numbers messed up? It says Texas A&M is a great offense. Am I reading this wrong?
They're good because they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country. So a lot of they get putbacks and stuff like that. But as far as they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country.
I think my data's messed up then.
But I mean, that doesn't mean that some of their offensive numbers won't look good. I mean, the thing with Texas A&M is would
it make sense that they get to the free throw line often? But
yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so then, but weren't we saying they turn the ball over? Because this is saying they don't turn the ball over, and I remember we talked about this.
They're like middle of the pack as far as offensively.
I don't think this is right.
They're like 179 in turnover percentage out of like 360 teams. So not a lot, but not a little either. But as far as turnovers can go, I mean, with Texas A&M, I mean, the Kentucky defense doesn't force turnovers at all. So, and I do think that the reason that I wanted to get to Texas A&M is because that's the one thing that the Kentucky defense has been very, very good at is using their length and limiting teams from the 3-point line. But that's not how Texas A&M plays. Texas A&M's trying to drive and get to the hole. That's where kind of Kentucky's defense kind of struggle, and then Texas A&M will live and die off of getting their rebounds. Like I said, they are the best offensive rebounding team in the country. So I just think that I think that they're going to try to make this game very, very ugly for Kentucky, and I don't know how Kentucky's going to respond to that. Like I said, I think Texas A&M is a lot better than Mississippi State, and those two teams remind me a lot of each other. So even though it's at home, I still lean Mississippi State Texas A&M on the spread. So I haven't bet it yet. It's really hard to bet against this Kentucky team at home. But I mean, I really, really want to play Texas A&M. Excuse me.
I remember you had them in the last game against Florida. I bet that one with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Not to mention the fact that Kentucky's next game is Alabama. They have Alabama at home, so maybe, just maybe, this is a little bit of a look ahead spot. Again, it's probably not. Texas A&M is like a dark horse Final Four team, so it's hard to think that they're going to overlook Texas A&M. But I'm just saying that's pretty big game on deck for that Kentucky team. I'll say that. So
Rodfather is in the comments. He says bet against Kentucky after a game where they made 55% of their shots or better. Kentucky's record since 2023, 3-16 against the spread. A game after they shoot well. That's actually not a bad one, Rob. Some of Rod's are pretty crazy, but that actually, all right, 3-16 against the spread. Kentucky coming off a game where they make 55% or more of their shots. I'm assuming that applies to now. That's why he's mentioning it.
Yeah.
Poll is on Texas A&M too. 63%, 37% Texas A&M.
Like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but and then somebody said in the comments that Kentucky's been decent on the boards as well. Yeah, they have, but again, Texas A&M is a completely different animal.
All right. Well, let's do the one more college basketball game. The other one you said, and then we'll call it, because I'm a little pissed that my college basketball spreadsheets aren't updated, and I want to get that updated for tomorrow. So I have more work to do. But we got Baylor. This is a cool one though.
Yeah. I think I'm almost positive I'm gonna be on Arizona here.
Oh wait, Wags. Okay. Wags is saying the over is 13-6 in Texas A&M's last 19 road games. Both totals, the last two times these two teams met, it went way over the total. So it looks like Wags is on the over. Or actually, he's sharing trends for all kinds of stuff, but it sounds like, based on what he's saying, that he's on the over. All right, Baylor, Arizona.
I think I'm going to be on Arizona here. So I said going into after I bet against them and I lost with Cincinnati, I said that was a really, really impressive win to me.
You were definitely glazing Arizona last time you were talking about them on the stream. I remember.
And I bet them against West Virginia, and that was like the easiest winner of the day for me. And then they came back home and played UCF. Were killing them throughout the game. Then they kind of stopped playing the last. They didn't cover in that game, but they were like 17-point favorites. But the thing that I wanted to point out for Arizona is, and the reason that I was confident in them, and this doesn't really work as far as against Baylor, because Baylor's also played a very good schedule, but Arizona had played one of the best schedules in the country up to that date when they were losing all those games. I mean, the games that Arizona has lost on the road to Wisconsin, obviously Wisconsin's been playing out of their mind. At home against Duke, who's obviously a Final Four type team. They lost to Oklahoma in a neutral by 5. They lost to West Virginia in OT, and then they lost to UCLA. Now the UCLA loss looks really bad now, but at the time on December 14th, keep in mind that UCLA had just went on the road and beat Oregon, and then a week after that they went on the road and beat Gonzaga, and then obviously they've lost every game since then. But again, at the time, and looking back, I don't think that you can grade that as a bad thing. I think that UCLA was playing really, really good at that game. But since then, they've turned a corner, and it's one thing for me against Cincinnati, against Cincinnati on the road, that it's like they don't have to worry about Caleb Love anymore. Again, he's always going to take bad shots and whatnot, but I mean, he's really kind of toned it down. He's usually shooting 8-9 shots a lot. Last couple games, 5 threes, 7 threes. I mean, he's 5 for 13 in those. So kind of really not turning the ball over a ton. I mean, he's had 3 the last 2 games, but again, I think that Caleb Love is playing a lot better, and I think that's part of it. I think KJ Lewis is looking really good. Jaden Bradley looks really good. Look, Baylor on the road is not a team that I don't know if I can trust yet. I mean, they lost to Iowa State on the road. Obviously, they just barely beat Arizona State, and Arizona State's a scrappy basketball team. I'll give them that, but they're not anything special. They barely won that game. Obviously, they lost to UConn. They lost to Tennessee I guess that was a neutral, and then they lost to Gonzaga. So Baylor on the road hasn't been very profitable this season at all. Especially in big spots. And I think that they're facing a little bit Arizona team that's a little bit underrated right now. Not to mention the fact that they haven't seen an offense like Arizona in a while, besides the game against Iowa State, and they lost that game by 20 points. So, and I think that Arizona kind of profiles a little bit to Iowa State. Obviously, Iowa State a lot better defensively, but a very good offense that runs at a very fast pace. That's a somewhat decent rebounding team. I mean, Iowa State number 61 in offensive rebounding, Arizona number 9. So all those major keys to the game, Arizona has, and they're at home. Again, I think this game if this game was in Baylor, maybe it was a different story, but I think that Arizona is playing some of the best basketball of the season right now. And the fact that Baylor has played such a good schedule, we might be getting a little bit of a discount, but what I saw against Arizona State was kind of concerning. So again, I think that Arizona matches up very well with this Baylor team. So I haven't bet Arizona yet because it is, like I said, Kyle said, we're just kind of getting through some of these games. I haven't made through all of them, but Arizona is going to have a huge height advantage as well. They should be able to stand in there and rebound with Baylor as well. So I have a very, very huge lean to Arizona. I haven't bet them, but I'm probably very close to.
For the record, I just went and bet the Texas A&M Kentucky over. Wags liked it. Then Rod came in, said he liked it, and then I went and looked. FanDuel had a 158.5 hanging it, and everyone else had it at 160. So low hanging fruit there. So I grabbed the over 158.5 while he was talking. I put you guys, if you're in the Discord, you saw it. I just posted in there. So
Kentucky home overs are usually a decent.
That's
bet.
Another thing Wags said. Everyone in there was throwing over shit out there, and I saw a low hanging 158.5. Nailed it. Beefsteak tips. Have you discussed A&M Kentucky? You scroll back. We did talk about it. So it's after 12:40. This was kind of like a test run. Starting tomorrow, I'll be more prepared, and I will have gone through the NBA where like I'm ready to talk rather than just like scrolling. And also, I'll get the college basketball sheets updated. I don't know why my sheets weren't updated. I don't like that. I'll get
really quickly. A couple of people asked about the St. John's game against Georgetown because those are my guys. I think St. John's might run them out of the building, guys. And I love Georgetown. Georgetown's been really, really good to me. I don't really put too much stock into what happened against UConn. UConn's a very good team. But the thing with Georgetown is that they struggle with teams that run fast paces. They haven't seen a lot of it. St. John's number 11 in pace. You take a look at the Marquette game. Marquette runs a very high pace as well, a fast pace. They lost that game. Again, they haven't seen very many fast-paced teams like St. John's. And if St. John's is on, it could be a very long night. So I kind of think that St. John's has a really kind of like a get-right type of game against our Hoyas. I still love them, but I don't like the matchup tomorrow.
With St. John's, you can get a 9.5 on BetMGM. Everywhere else has 10.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was really. I really wanted to bet the 9.5. I didn't because it is in Madison Square Garden, so maybe Georgetown can slow it down a little bit. And we all know that St. John's can't hit threes, and if there's one thing that Georgetown can do is defend the paint. So there's enough reasons for me to kind of keep me off, but if my gut and my heart tells me that St. John's probably wins by 15.
So I'll throw St. John's minus 9.5. All right, cool. So everyone, thanks for watching. And like I said, tomorrow, as the weeks go on, I'll have this running a little bit more smoothly. This is the first run of this open browser type of stream. So thanks everyone for watching as always. Shout out to the LA Rams. Shout out to the under. Needed a win. Had a terrible weekend. Comments were coming in. I'm working for Vegas.
Speaking of comments, continue to tell us what you guys like in the games on these midnight streams. This is supposed to be like an interactive type of thing. It isn't like just me and Koss telling you what we're doing. So I'd love to hear your guys' poin's
We're relying on like Wags being in the comments, with Rod being in the comments.
Absolutely.
The idea is we're all sitting here looking at the same stuff, so why not do it all together, kind of a thing. Like we're all looking at every single one of us is all looking at numbers waiting for tomorrow, so why not just like gather and do it together. That was the idea behind it. But everyone, have a good night. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern.